Hey guys, what's up? It's Diego, and today I'm back with a brand new video. If you could tell by the title of this video and by the beautiful shirt I'm rocking right now, we are going to be talking about how I manifested moving to New York at 18, and also how I've continued to move to New York time and time again as the time has gone on, and giving you guys some of my manifesting tips, but also more into my life story and story of becoming, or becoming the things that I've always wanted to be. So this story sort of starts out when I was about 13 or 14, and I would come to New York on vacation and whatnot, and my first time truly being here, it just felt like something kind of clicked within me, and I just fell in love with the city, and my life seemed to be a lot better in the city in a way that it wasn't when I would travel to different places, because I grew up with a family that loved to travel every weekend or so. Every few weekends, my dad would take me on a road trip. We would go on road trips all the time, and my mom and I would travel different places, and my family, we would all just pack into the car and drive somewhere, and that was sort of our thing. I grew up in California, so there was always somewhere to drive through, and some sort of, whether it was camping, fishing, we were always sort of traveling in a way. And even as I was traveling on an airplane to go to visit different places when I was younger, nowhere really felt like I did, or my life felt in New York City. So immediately I had this sort of connection and draw to it, aside from films that I would watch, because I did grow up watching all that, and all these New York sort of all these films and TV shows that take place in New York, and was always fascinated by it. I was that kid that was 8 years old watching Sex and the City. It was crazy. But I just really loved the setting, and something was just really attractive something was really attractive about it to me. And so when I got here, I was when I was leaving, I wanted to cry. I was I think I actually did cry. Their 14-year-old me was crying as I was heading back to the airport to leave the city. So then from there, it was just kind of I was 14 years old, going on Zillow and watching YouTubers that would vlog New York and whatnot. And I think at this time Casey Neistat was blowing up, so New York was kind of in cultural a bigger part, or it played a bigger part in the cultural zeitgeist at the time. Whereas you guys know cities sometimes take turns in popularity and whatnot, or being at the center of sort of the cultural attention. But other than that, it just felt good. It felt right, and it felt good being in New York. So from the years to go on, throughout middle school and high school, I just kind of had it in the back of my mind, in a detached way. I was just kind of this is where I see myself living my life, because no other city made me feel the way that New York made me feel. I remember I would the only other option would have been San Francisco for me, maybe LA. But I didn't really like LA. I've actually lived in LA twice now, and each time it's just bad. It's no, it's not it for me personally. I think LA has its beautiful things, but it's just a tougher city to live in my opinion, just because it's harder. It's a harder city to live in, from my experience. Whereas New York, it's kind of easier. You want to get somewhere, you hop on a train or you walk over there, and you don't have to deal with the certain things that you would deal with in California. I think the only real benefit to LA is the weather, but I'm telling you guys, the weather, a few rainy days in LA feels like an entire New York winter. Maybe I'm wrong about that, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was just kind of my sort of dream. But I think even younger than that, when people would ask me, or when my parents would ask me, they would be where do you want to go to college and whatnot, I would say New York. I would just say, yeah, I'm gonna go to New York, and go to college there, and they'd just be okay, whatever. They didn't really think much of it. I don't think, but even when the time came for me to apply to schools and whatnot, like my parents were always very supportive and very much, just wanting, they didn't really, I feel like they didn't really care much as long as, because they had like a sort of feeling that I was, all right, and they always supported me like traveling and whatnot, which leads me to when I was 16 I was like 17 actually. I came back to New York and I set up like tours and everything with all of the colleges that I wanted to go to. And when I did that, I came back to the city and just had an incredible summer, the best time ever. And everybody was just so welcoming, and I was having such incredible experiences. I remember I stayed with like my best friend at the time. Like we stayed in like this Airbnb in East Village and paid literally barely any money for it. But it was this beautiful apartment, and we were just like so overjoyed. It was actually like, thinking back now, that apartment was right by Tompkins, like in East Village, by like, it was on 5th Street and like Avenue A, I think. And that just like being the fact that we were there and we were literally paying like such little money for that Airbnb. I think we paid like $40 a night for it. It was like something really low. And just had such an incredible experience, and I remember people like would come up to me on the street and just be so welcoming and like be very like, just, it felt right. Everything about it felt like right, and it felt like my future. So ultimately when when that summer ended and I came back home, it was like, just, okay, these are the schools I'm going to apply to. This is what, my future is going to look like. And I continued to apply to like the schools that I wanted to go to. I only applied to schools in New York, funny enough. Well, I think I applied to San Francisco State and I did get in, but I just decided not to go there because it didn't attract me. And funny enough, I got into the schools that I applied to in New York as well, and I got a good scholarship and was able to attend. And like my parents were very supportive as well of like my decisions. They really just wanted me to like, experience life, and I really do appreciate them for that, and for like pushing me to like, be a man and like go out into the world and like have experiences and improve my life. So hold on. So fast forward, I got into colleges in like March of the year that I graduated. I got into the schools and got the scholarship I wanted and was able to go to the schools. I ended up, moving into the dorms, and immediately like my life just became everything that I had ever wanted to be. I felt like I was so ready for the opportunities here, and like the opportunities were just in complete abundance. And like I remember even like before I got into the schools that I applied to and it was possible for me to move here at 18. I remember like telling people, like people would ask me, what's your plans, or like where are you gonna go? And people would say, oh, I'm going to this school, or I'm joining the army, or I'm doing this. And then I would say, oh, I'm moving to New York. I know. And I didn't, it wasn't like set in stone that I was moving to New York either. I would just be like, yeah, I'm moving to New York. I'm gonna miss you so much. Like I literally would say that to people, and without really even having any plans. And then as time went on, I just kept assuming these things, and as time progressed, all of the universe just conspired, and things just sort of naturally flowed into what I was thinking them to be, And I say all of this because I think a lot of people know how easy it is to manifest something, but it's actually kind of harder to keep something than it is to catch it. It's hard. It might be easy to get something, but keeping it is a whole other story, And along my journey, I've moved away from New York. I've left New York. I've, felt emotional or listened to emotions or got distracted by some sort of thing, and I've left New York a few times. once during COVID, another time last year, and those times were moments where I was not in alignment with belief, and I didn't have the toughness to be persistent in my own life, or keep that vision in my mind. And I was giving into feelings of nostalgia and giving into feelings or premonitions of lack. And boy, oh boy, you guys, I really don't wish this on my worst enemy, or especially anybody watching this, looking to, manifest things into their life. Like, I really don't want anyone to ever think in lack, or in terms of being in lack, or of, paranoia that things aren't going to work out for you exactly how you want them to. Because it actually, if you give into those negative thoughts, it will just be a total downward spiral in all areas of your life. And trust me, I have been through it, because those little thoughts of not thinking that things aren't going to work out for you, it's like a tiny little thought that quickly becomes something much bigger that you're fully enveloped in. So that is why, I've really learned from my own mistakes of getting into nostalgia and missing the past, or missing this comfort, or missing that, because I've given into those feelings before. And what did it lead me down? It led me down a path of destruction and of loss of self, and of just total cloudiness and distraction, as best as I could describe it. But it's through these errors and these mistakes that I had made in the past that made me as tough as I am now, because now my vision and my sacrifice with my body is in full honor of the life of my own design and the life of my own success. And it's in full ode, my body is in full ode to my vision and my dreams. That is period, And I think of this one meme that I saw. It was it was a meme, but it was an edit of from this one movie where this guy is telling to this boy who's leaving the small town, and he's telling him, he's holding his head, and he's like, don't give into nostalgia, forget us all. Don't come back, don't give into nostalgia, forget us all. And that is what is such an important thing to know and remember when you are going after your mission, and when you are, on your path and on the path to success. Don't give into feelings. Do not ever give into feelings. Feelings are a temporary little emotion that, if you could make actions based off these feelings 10 times out of 10, or 9 times out of 10 maybe, you will regret it. You really will regret it, making these decisions based off emotions and how you're feeling, and the past, and nostalgia, and melancholy, or whatever that the emotion is at the time. Being in your mission is the most important thing for you to become the person that you want to be, and the person that you need to be for others. Because trust me, people will not respect you if you go back to nostalgia, if you fall back on your comforts. They're not going to respect you. They are going to lose respect for you, because in a way you have lost respect for yourself by going into the past, or going into nostalgia, and going into all these things. They have lost respect for you, and it's you have to respect yourself, and you have to respect your divine calling in this life. And that is to fulfill your desires and fulfill your divine duty to this world, Like I said, I've been that person that's made those mistakes. And those mistakes have dug so deep into my mind and so deep into my body that I am not the person that I was that made those, was giving into feelings. Now when I have feelings, or when I feel triggered, or when I feel an emotion come up, I'm just I just observe it. I just am that's an emotion, and that's fine. And then guess what? I move on to the next thing. I ground myself back into my life and in my reality, and immediately just get back to my reality. And that is what is existing around me. And guess what? The past is not there. The past is not here. Like, I don't know where it is, and nor do I even care to know what it was. You know? And that's why, like, I left the small town that I grew up in, because there was nothing for me there in terms of life in general. There just wasn't. There was nothing for me there. And I knew that when I had everything there, and then as time has gone on, there's just even less and less there of me. You know, there's nothing there for me now, especially. But going back into nostalgia and going backwards in life is not an option. You have to continue to fight. You have to continue to be that warrior that's going to persist on in life, because there really is no other option. There really isn't. Because the past does not exist. You can't go back to it. You know, even looking around the city here and talking about like store closings, stores that have been open for over 30 years or for longer times, and places that I had seen open my whole life or that I've loved closing down. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm sure you can freak out for a little bit, but I'm not gonna like focus too much on the past or things of that sort, because I'm in my present now, and I know what my future is going to look like, and it has nothing to do with the past, you know? And that's why I encourage men especially, or women who have a goal, or any person who has a dream and a mission in their life, to go after it, to really chase after it and give it your all, because this life is so short. And I promise you, all of those things that you're holding on to in your small town or in your family especially, like all of that will still be there. But don't you want to focus on your mission right now? Because there might not be another time to, you know, there might not be another time to live the life that you want to live. You only get this one life. So why would you want to spend that being something for somebody else that you don't even know what they want? You don't even know what that person doesn't even know what they want from you. You don't know what you want from them. It's just a whole lot of confusion trying to mend yourself with people of the past, or trying to make relationships work that don't, when you are literally dying to get to know you. The world is dying to get to know you. The world literally needs you to exist so that you can help them. Everybody needs you in their life. So I don't want to focus on a small little group of people that are not in alignment with my own journey, and that are not not a part of my future in this mission. You know, I as a man, like, truly just, it's my duty to like go out there and create a family of my own and create a life of my own design, and not stay close to family and be in this little group where I may not be what I always wanted to be, and where I am not, you know, free to go out there and make something of my own, and staying close in that comfort. Because staying in that comfort zone, nothing will ever happen. Like, nothing will ever happen, and trust me, I've been there. I've craved that comfort so much that I actually gave into it, and it led me to stagnancy. It led to depression, sadness, stagnancy, mediocrity, missing things in my own life, even forgetting my own priorities and goals. And it's tragic for the soul. It really is just a tragedy to one's soul and one's soul purpose to give into those feelings and behaviors, and it's a waste. It really just is a waste. And by me making these videos, and by me like documenting and sharing these sorts of things, like, I want everybody out there to know that it's okay to take risks. It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to leave behind nostalgia and forget about emotions and focus on the real world. Focus on reality and how things actually work. And I promise you, everyone, you love your family and whatnot, you know, a lot of times family isn't the ones holding you back. Family is the one saying, hey, I know you, like, this new you isn't you. Like, what do you know, what's going on here? And even in the journey, in the process of becoming successful, people are going to be confused, and people are going to be like, that's not the Diego I knew. That's not the Diego I knew back in 2008. That's not the Diego I knew back in 2012, 2015, 2020, 2023. Like, that's not the Diego I knew. And it's like, great, because that's not me. I'm still really young, and I'm still growing. And also, who I was then has nothing to do with what I'm becoming. And I could care less about, anybody's past. And personally, I'm that person that wants to see people grow, even no matter what your age is. You can be in your 50s, 40s, 30s, teens, 80s. Every day is a new opportunity to be exactly what you've always wanted to be. The other day I ran into what's her name? That older lady who dresses in like all green. She's like the green lady or something. And that woman is in her 80s, and she's just a viral sensation, and she's still living in her art and having a new start to life, and she's enjoying every moment of it. Trust me. She gets groups surrounding her. Like, this woman is living in her truth, and she found her little acclaim, by being herself and believing in her journey. And I know that if anybody has heard of her story, I feel like she dealt with some sort of loss, but still continues to believe in herself and in her creativity. And that is where we find so much beauty when it comes to like healing and relationships and even following along on our journey, because our journey is beautiful and it leads us to such beautiful things when we just literally learn to let go of emotions. You'll literally be crying over something or whatever, and then you might miss out on something really, really great, because there's always great opportunities and there's always something new. I think I said this in the previous clip, like I just filmed another manifestation video, and I left the building that I'm in because I'm in the studio right now, and I leave the building. Right as I'm leaving the building, I run into Hitomi Mochizuki, this YouTuber that she does like spirituality, life, all sorts of wellness content. And I leave the studio and I ran into her. And I had like the opportunity to really express to her how much of an inspiration she's been in my life and have a connection with her. And like, it's just crazy to think, because I had been watching her since 2016, and like seeing her, I mean, she still looks the same, she still looks literally the same as like young and beautiful as like she was then. But like, it's crazy how like I literally was making a video about manifesting people and manifesting a new life, and who do I run into? The woman who literally inspired me and played a part in that journey for me, in the spiritual journey for me, right outside, like literally right after. So when I talk about this stuff, it's not just like to talk about it. It's for real. Like this opportunity to start a new life is a real thing. This thing where you believe that great things will happen to you if you just let go of the past and allow life to be good to you, and allow new beginnings to be created and new and incredible experiences to come into your life. All of that is possible. Let me just check if it's recording, because I don't know with this camera. Okay. So yeah, that's why I really wanted to make this video for you guys, talking about, why you should leave your small town and start a new life, and why it's possible, and why it's positive to believe in great things always happening for you, because they are. There's a world out there that's dying to bless you, and there's people out there that are waiting to bless you and do great things for you. If you're in a bad relationship, guess what? There's actually someone out there that wants to help you, if you so believe it. If you don't feel like you're getting love in your community, guess what? You can go out there and find another community. You can go out there and build your own. That's like literally the journey of life. And it's just beautiful to see people starting over. You know, if anybody knows my story, I'm actually an immigrant. My mother immigrated to this country when I was a toddler, and I, you know, started my life here in the United States, and what my life is from when I was born has changed so much, which is why, like I said, I'm not the Diego I was a certain year. Like, give me a year, my life is not what it was then. You know, life is always changing, and we can't be attached to the past at all. We really can't. And anybody out there dealing with these sorts of things, I hope that you come back to this video or any one of my videos and find that sort of spark again, or are able to listen to messages that are positive and will push you into that direction of believing in good things, because good things are out there waiting for you to go and accept them into your life. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you subscribed and you liked the video. If you do, so you can come back to it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. You guys, the craziest thing just happened. I literally am here at the studio filming, and I stepped outside because I needed to get like something to drink. And I kid you not, I come down, you know, out of my building, and who do I see? Hitomi Mochizuki, if anyone knows who that is. Hitomi Mochizuki is like this YouTuber that I've been watching since I was like 15. Like, she has been such a huge inspiration for me, and I literally just left the building after filming a video about manifestation and manifesting a specific person into your life. And what's funny enough, she's the one who inspired me to even start making these kinds of videos back when I was like 16. And then I literally left the building that I'm in and ran into her and just really got to connect with her and just tell her how much she's, you know, helped me and been alongside contributed to my spiritual journey and my journey in manifesting, and just like being able to tell her all these things and being able to connect with her and cross paths. Thank you, God and heavens, and thank you, life. She is somebody who's really special. I recommend you guys check out her channel. She makes spiritual content, and she makes content funny enough, I found her during that era of YouTube that was like veganism and spirituality, and really was that sort of life. And although I'm not vegan anymore, I'm still continuing on in the spiritual journey, as you guys can tell from my content that I've been putting out. But yeah, you guys, manifestation is extremely real. Like, I kid you not, it's like I manifested her almost immediately, because funny enough, I was actually thinking about her the other day randomly. I think either not yesterday, but the day before. I was literally thinking about her, and then I ran into her here on the streets of New York, when she's somebody who's always traveling, and like, you know, she told me she travels full time. So yeah, that was extremely, extremely lovely. Anyways, so I wanted to come back on and make a video for you guys again and be able to talk about some things that have been on my mind lately, and as you can tell from the title, we are gonna get into it. So yeah, let's get into it.